I'm in day off like mode right now, so I have
All
no
right.
makeup. I'm good though.
You look fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. So here we go. Hey, everybody, it's Dan's that time once more to go around the world one more time and have a beer or two along the way. Thanks a lot for coming out this week. And thanks for tuning in for last week for when we were talking with Martin Keene from the Homebrewed Challenge. If you haven't checked him out, please go to YouTube, check him out. Lots of cool stuff there, especially the challenge he did, which was 99 beers in 99 weeks. So, and he's come out with some really cool stuff. He's talked about, I remember one beer he talked about was the chocolate cherry porter on nitro he did for his wife that he said actually turned out pretty good. So if you haven't checked him out, please do. If you want to hit him up for recipes, please do, because he's a very cool guy and I can't speak any more highly of him. If you have not guessed who we have on the show this week, we have Tyler and, or do you prefer Ty or Tyler?
Oh,
Tiger?
yeah. No, Tyler.
Tyler?
Fine.
All
Yeah,
right. We have
yeah.
Tyler and Laurie from Brewd Up Podcast. If you haven't checked these guys out, go onto Spotify, listen to them. The first time I heard of these guys was when they were on the Homebrew Happy Hour. And you guys were talking with Josh.
Yes, bless
Yes,
him.
he's an easy
Love
mark to
Josh.
pick on.
No, he's honestly, I hate how much
Laurie's
he's picked
laughing.
on.
He's cool.
He's
He's
awesome.
fun.
He's super fun.
He's a fun guy. No, get me wrong. Ted and Todd and Josh and James are fantastic guys to talk to. I always reach out to them when I have questions about stuff. They're fantastic. So
Cool.
This week we got these fantastic ladies on the show, and while we get some things sorted out, stay tuned, listen to the sponsors, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So we have these fantastic ladies on the other side of North America right now, where I'm stuck in my office here in Ottawa, Ontario. They're out in California. If I'm right, you guys are part of SoCal, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the Cervezos.
So those are two different.
I mean,
yeah, the same but different things. Yeah, Lori can explain it.
Well, we're located we're both in LA, the LA area, Los Angeles County. She's in the most northernly part, and I'm in kind of the most southerly part. And that's considered Southern California or SoCal. And then we're also, our homebrew club is called SoCal Cerveceros.
Okay, that's where I was getting confused.
You
Trust me,
got
it doesn't take much to confuse this guy. I've been dropped in my head one too many times. It's all good. Trust me, it's all good. So
he's been golfing.
What's that?
I said you've been golfing.
I've been golfing. Okay, golfing doesn't really equate to being dropped in your head. I used to be a paratrooper, jumping out of airplanes. I've landed great. I've landed bad.
Oh.
I've racked my head off the ground a few times. Explains a lot about the way I act. So have no fears. All's good.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Yes, 100%.
100%.
Thank you. But like I tell everybody else, is a job like anybody else's. Only difference is I signed on a line with my life being the paycheck. Only difference.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Only difference.
That's cool. Okay.
So let's talk beer, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, what are you cracking, Lori?
I'm cracking a beer. It's actually technically a graph. It's half beer, half cider, but they don't call it a graph. They just call it ale with cider must. But it's also has Buddha hand, which is kind of a weird citrus fruit. Not weird, but a unique citrus fruit, and YET hops. So it's kind of lemony, hoppy, and it's from a place called Celador. And Tyler and I went on a date last week, and I bought this.
Nice.
My baby.
Nice. Some
He
things
took
I've been
me out
getting
for
into.
my birthday. Let's be specific. It was,
You went for your
it was
birthday?
it was her birthday. I had to take her out
It
and get her
was.
drunk.
Oh, congratulations. You're what, 24, 25?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Perfect.
24, 25, exactly.
That's
right.
I play it safe because I never asked. Yeah, some of the things I've been getting into here are like it's cider mixed with lemonade, which has been really, really good.
Ooh, okay.
Tasty.
Very tasty. So how did you guys meet?
We met. So we met through the aforementioned.
We met on Tinder. Just
yes,
kidding.
OnlyFans. No. We met through the aforementioned SoCal Cerveceros, which is a homebrew club down here in Southern California. So SoCal, for all these listeners that don't understand stupid LA California language, SoCal is short for Southern California, and it's a pretty big range of like counties, which kind of makes things a little difficult, but also, very familiar. So she had joined the club before me, and my first meeting, she was there, and yeah, that's how we met. And from there, it was just like, boom, clicked, easy. You're the homie. Yeah, that was pretty
Nice.
much, yeah.
And you guys have some pretty cool beer ventures so far with some of the stuff you've been doing.
Oh yeah. We just like talk beer and then just try weird shit. And Tyler, can I say the word? Anyway, Tyler works at a homebrew shop.
She said shit.
Trust me, Army guy, there's a lot more coming out of my mouth. Trust me.
Actually, I was checking out your podcast and I did note it said explicit. So I was like, perfect. We won't get in trouble.
Be yourselves. If like I drop F-bombs every now and then, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Perfect.
So
but no, I mean, Lori is to continue what Lori was saying.
We do all kinds of weird stuff. Mostly, I mean, it's in the name of learning, and then we have a podcast, so it's like, oh yeah, we have to do that for the podcast. So it's really fun to kind of feel like we're on a mission to try something new or test something out, and then report back and discuss it.
So what have been some of the most interesting, like, I guess, adventures or experiments that you've done brewing? I mean, I'm pretty sure you've got quite a few brews under your belt. I do know you guys do have some hardware under your belts from beer competitions. So you're not just homebrewers, you're competition winners or placers. So let's feed the machine a little here. Let's hear some accolades.
You know what? It's so funny because there is a beer that kind of combines those two things, like one of our first experiments and a piece of hardware that we achieved from said experiment. So we were kind of like, oh, let's try, a kettle sour. This is like a couple years ago. Neither of us had ever tried it. I'd only kind of read about it and asked, fellow homebrewers about it. What's the process? Getting all the steps down as much as possible. So we're like, let's try it. Let's try a kettle sour, a Gosa, like German sour wheat beer, and let's throw like mango into it, like whatever, fuck it. And so the first round on that brew was, so kettle sour isn't like super experimental, but if you've never done it, it's a process. And it's actually a process if you have done it. That's why I haven't done it in a while. Yeah. And it, like, when you have certain equipment, it makes it a little bit easier too. So it's one of those things. So like the first round, we missed a step, and like, long story short, my bedroom started smelling like puke after like 24 hours.
What?
Yeah, but we,
it happens
like,
to anyone.
It happens to anyone. We, kind of like rearranged that one, but tried it again, a nice clean one. And then we entered it. Actually, Lori was like, we need to enter this into a competition. And we won gold for the category. So that was cool. It was like a mango Gosa.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We've tried a bunch of different stuff. I can't even, like, off the top of my head. Lori does so much cool shit. I mean, she'll throw.
This girl,
Yeah,
right here.
you do.
You do too. I walked into her apartment last week and she was steaming plantains and toasting coconut. And I was like, ooh, what are you making?
Steaming plantains and toasting coconut.
Yes, I thought I was going to get a pie or a cake or a treat or something, but no, she just dumped it in a beer.
I would have thought of tostones or something.
Yeah, I just dumped it in a porter. It's kind of like a test batch of something, and I will report back that the sample before packaging last night came out pretty damn good. So
nice.
Did you package an extra little bottle on the side?
I did 2 bombers with like bottle conditions and my baby keg, the 3-gallon keg. So
nice. All right.
Awesome.
So when you did your kettle sour, did you do it with lactose bacillus, or did you actually use like tried and true, good straight old Greek yogurt into the kettle?
No, yeah.
Neither.
So I don't know if you guys have Good Belly up in Canada, but Good Belly is like a probiotic drink, and it is primarily lactobacillus plantarum, and it's perfect because you get like mango flavor and I don't know.
You lost me at mango because I'm allergic to it. So.
Oh my God, you're allergic to mango?
See, I never was before, and then one night, and like my wife and I just moved to our new house maybe 2 months ago. So at our old house, I actually peeled a mango completely, cut all the flesh out of it, started eating it, and I felt fine. Then my wife, an hour later, my wife was looking at me, says, "Why are you so bright red?" I said, "I don't know, but I'm."
Why do you look like that?
Why you look like your eyes are like blood red? And I'm like, I don't know, but my skin is so itchy. I want to rip it off my body.
Oh my goodness.
And the next morning I looked like Freddy Krueger had gotten a hold of me.
I'm so sorry.
I don't like that. I do not like that.
That's like deathly allergic.
That's why I stay away from mango now. Even though it's probably a one-off thing, just stay away from it.
I know, that's what I'm like. That was the first time you ever had a mango, like a year ago, or what was that?
I have that was 5 years ago. And since then I just don't take the chance. It's not worth it. But I do get experimental with things like blueberries and cherries, peaches, apricots, and things like that, all going into beer. I work in a craft brewery where we believe that if you say it's like a blueberry saison or a strawberry or rhubarb, whatever you say it's supposed to be there, it had best damn freaking be there. Because if it's not, you're lying.
Fruit accountability.
You know what? So right before we hopped on here, I did and I told Lori this, I did a split batch of like same base. It was like Pilsner, Munich, and then hops were, I don't remember, it was like just with salt, something random. Something is like, it was kind of like a Frankenstein, like whatever's in my house, like throw it together, make a batch. But I split like 7 gallons, and I threw lager yeast into one, and traditionally like 52 degrees fermented it. And the other one I threw like a Saison Blaugie yeast and Dirty Dozen, which is like from, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's basically like 12 Brett strains, and like I think East Coast yeast makes it.
Really?
And after the Brett one fermented, I threw like a tropical blend of like frozen fruit in there. I was like, whatever, this is gonna be however it tastes. Just had some, and it was banging. Like nice. Pineapple, Brett, ripe fruit, mango, whatever. It was pretty good. So.
All right. So I'm going to play the two of you against each other. In your own individual brewing, who has had the best results in the craziest thing you've ever done?
Probably Lori.
No, I don't. First of all.
No, I feel like Lori does and never fails. Like almost.
Oh, that's completely incorrect. When I fail, I pour it out.
I hear you. Beer.
I hear you. I've done that. I've done that on 4 or 5 batches. I've dumped beer. Trust
Ooh,
me.
Tyler, what are you drinking?
Sparkling water.
Tyler.
I know I drank kind of a lot before I hopped on here, and then I ate food, and I didn't want to like drink while I was on here and like pass out.
That
So
was already 4 beers in. So
yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
So you guys are both like on your way out, and I'm just now trying to enter.
No,
Is that
I'm trying to
what's
keep the stamina up.
Oh,
so that
I
can
okay.
continue
I
You're
would have
the-
kept
you're
going,
hydrating.
but I still have to go to sleep and whatnot.
No, we're partying, Dan. You asked us here.
It's like 2 a.m.
right.
where he is.
I'll
Just
tell you what.
kidding.
Next time we do like a little talk like this, I'll make sure I have at least 2 cans of beer or at least 2 glasses of beer on the desk with me when we're talking.
Wait,
Well,
do they have like Coors Light in Canada? Like, what's the international pale lager in
Busch.
Canada?
Why would you want to drink Coors Light?
Because
Hey,
you
I'm
can
just
drink
kidding.
it. and
If you're gonna drink Coors Light, open a tap. There's water. Come on.
What are people drinking in Ottawa?
So where I live here in Ottawa, we have 52 craft breweries,
Wow.
Cute.
Woo.
and I work at
Not
the we were just voted Ottawa's best local craft brewery where I work,
Cool.
which is called Stray Dog Brewing Company, and we've only been open for 5 years, and within that 5 years, we've been named one of Canada's top 5 or top 20 best new breweries. We've won multiple gold medals for the Canadian Brewing Awards. So
And that's where you work.
that's where
Awesome.
I work.
What do? You brew there? Or what
I do a little bit of everything. I work the
That's
front of the
nice. Wearing
house.
all the
I
hats.
work in the back of the house doing brewing, packaging.
You're the guy.
Do deliveries, a little bit of everything. And that was the first schmuck they
That's
hired.
awesome.
What's your favorite beer that Stray Dog makes?
My favorite. Okay, so I actually have 2.
We're gonna interview you, by the way.
Yeah.
We're taking this
Giddy up,
over.
let's do it. So the one when they first made it, it's called a Jeanne d'Arc, which is translated means Joan of Arc, but we have a road here in Ottawa called a Jeanne d'Arc, and it is a oatmeal stout, and I love me a
Yum.
good oatmeal stout.
Mm-hmm.
The next one that we did, which was just done this year, was an imperial coffee stout that we recirculated a 15 barrel fermenter over 5 gallons worth of freshly roasted espresso beans.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay. That sounds
And
good.
that
I
was
make
like
a pretty good coffee beer myself, but
She does an amazing.
I love a good coffee. Don't get me wrong. A good strong
Coffee's
Americano goes a
awesome.
long way.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So he's a stouty boy. That's cool. But
Stout.
wait, you didn't answer the original question. I'm curious to know, like, because every country kind of has their like standard,
Their standard.
international
Their standard
All
light
pale
lager.
lager.
All right,
Macro
all right.
produced pale
All right.
lager. What is
So-
Canada's?
Say her name.
So we have
Mention it.
2 mainstream breweries or beer producers here in Canada: Molson's and Labatt's.
Okay, I've heard of
If
that.
you're gonna buy a Labatt's beer, and I'm pretty sure you have this in the States, it's Labatt Blue.
Mm-hmm. I've had Labatt Blue in Idaho. many
Yeah, you
times.
must use it as paint stripper.
Oh no!
Then if you're gonna
that's
buy
okay.
Molson, they have the patriotic beer called Molson Canadian. Both of them are lagers. Both of them fall in within the Pilsner category. But even though they're considered to be technically perfect beers because they're easy to reproduce time and time again, if you go out in a bender on any of those, the headache you're going to have the next morning is brutal because of all the cheap filler they put in it between corn and rice so they can do a fast turnaround. Because technically they can rip those beers around in 4 days.
Well, yeah.
I love corn and I love rice and beer, so
Don't get me
gotta
wrong.
do it right.
Don't get me wrong. I love a good cerveza when it's done right. Like a good cerveza goes a long way. And what people do when it's a craft Corona. I'm like, no, it's not a Corona. It's cerveza. And if you put lime in it, I'm gonna fucking shoot you.
Oh no. We can put a lime in it. It's okay, guys.
No,
That's fucking
You guys
sweet.
can put a
sacrilege.
lime. My secret favorite beer, Bud Light with lime.
Oh Lord.
Oh gosh, really?
God.
I gotta try that.
Poolside. Ooh, honey.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna give you a beer that you might want to try. I'll even, if you want, I'll give you the recipe for it.
Sure.
It's a tangerine Amarillo hops pale ale.
Okay. That sounds pretty good.
So
I could get into that.
there's a company out of the States called Aseptic Puree, and you can buy
Yes,
like
I've seen that.
4-pound homebrew packs.
Yes.
So I bought blueberry, raspberry, blackberry, and tangerine. The first three I made into either Berliner Weiss or into cream ale.
Ooh.
And then this one I've been waiting to make because I'm going to do a double batch of it. And I just got my 14-gallon fermenter from Spike Brewing.
Fancy.
Oh yeah. And I'm almost got my brand new 20-gallon 3-vessel all sorted out. So
Dang. I was gonna ask. I was gonna
Dang.
ask what you brew on, but
so
Yeah.
right
that's
now
pretty
right now I'm still using my Brewzilla, and it's fantastic.
love Brewzilla. They're
I still love
amazing.
that name too, by the way.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
they're bang for your buck. Brewzilla's
Oh yeah.
It's so, to be honest, for the best bang for your buck, you're best off going with a Brewzilla compared to a Grainfather. I mean, unless you want all the bells and whistles and all the high tech shit, yeah, go with Grainfather. You can be in your living room. Oh yeah, okay. It takes away the fun. You want to be there watching it, maintaining it, and making sure if anything should happen, you're there to take care of it.
Mhm. I want to go back to that last statement because I assure you, if you're watching like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and looking at your beer on your app, that is fun. That's fun.
All right.
Our friend brews on. Doesn't Andy use Brewzilla?
No, yes, Andy does. He has like 2 of them.
He's like 2. He's like a Brewzilla truther. Love it.
And we sell Brewzillas at the store I work at, and we actually got the new Gen 4 ones that are very similar to
Yeah, 'cause
Grandfather.
I thought the new Gen
ways.
4s are going to like Wi-Fi based, and the controllers getting moved up, so you're not like hunched over like Quasimodo and all that.
Sure. Yeah, they're pretty rad, but it sounds like you're putting together like a pilot system for a brewery, basically.
I bought it
what's your
from
plan?
I got it from my friends who are veterans like I am. They opened a brewery here called Vimy, named after Vimy Ridge, and they sold me their old 20-gallon pilot system for $500. So I can't complain. I just got to get it. There's only one part. I can't get the HLT to power up. So either there's something wrong with the PID or a relay, or the elements burnt out. So
it's like electric system. Wow.
Yeah. Full electric. So I have a heated 2-car garage where I live here in Canada, because on a cold day, on a really bad cold day, you're looking at what, minus 35 degrees Celsius.
I'm like, I don't even know what that equivalent is. Is that freezing or is it?
It's below freezing. Freezing
God.
Freezing is 0. So when you get into the negative numbers, anything below -5, you best bundle up.
Tyler, he's speaking in Celsius right now, by the way.
Yeah, Lori knows Celsius now because she's all.
So Lori knows what I'm talking about when I say -35.
When you say 0, I say 32.
Okay.
Wow, I'm impressed.
The math.
I only know Fahrenheit because I'm that American person.
Oh, Dan, I wanted to ask you about your aseptic fruit.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed with fruit, there's kind of like there's 2 like type of flavors. There's like a fresh. I'm speaking really with I always notice it with blueberry. There's like a fresh blueberry flavor, and there's like a cooked jam blueberry flavor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does those aseptic fruits, is it because they're like boiled in the can, does it have like a cooked jammy flavor? Which, by the way, love. No, it's more of a tart. Interesting.
So when the first time I did my blueberry cream ale, I went to Costco and I bought like 4 or 5 bags of frozen blueberries, thawed them all out, dumped them into a blender, pureed the hell out of it, and then dumped it in. And it worked okay. Then I went to Aseptic and I got it already done, sealed in a hermetically sealed bag where I only had to cut it open and dump it into the fermenter after the first week, and away we go. And it's all done. You got beautiful color out of it, everything.
Yeah, purees are, I've done both, like fresh fruit, and puree. It kind of depends on the base beer style. But definitely I've had great results with both. But it kind of depends on like what you're going for and the base style.
So
in my personal experience.
Yeah. So what's some of the craziest stuff you've done? I like that. You don't want to know.
I put cereal in beer, but like that's not even crazy anymore because everyone does that shit. It's like, let's dump Lucky Charms in the mash and like take a video and put it on YouTube. It's not really crazy anymore. So the craziest thing I do now is like, I guess I have a barrel, so I barrel age stuff, in a 15-gallon barrel, which is kind of crazy, I suppose.
Right.
Just throwing, it's mostly just in terms of crazy like adjuncts, right? It's like the toasted coconut, the plantains, which is, that's kind of crazy. But I do the research and kind of hope for the best. So
I hear plantains and I think tostones.
Huh?
I hear plantains and I think tostones.
I don't know what tostones are, but it's like,
you're like from Southern California. You don't know what tostones are.
plantain.
I'm a freaking Canuck and I know what tostones are.
What is
They're like little fried plantain bites, kind of like banana chips, but thicker with a plantain.
They're deep fried. They're like the plantains are sort of cooked at the beginning, then they're flattened, then they're deep fried.
Yeah, no, I honestly I hate plantains. The reason I'm doing it is it's for an experiment to like make like kind of a Panamanian influenced beer. So my mom used to make me eat plantains when I was a kid and I hated them, but I'm trying to embrace them again, you know.
How about you?
So starchy though. I'm curious how they work with the yeast.
Yeah, it's interesting. It kind of was giving a little bit more banana.
Yeah.
But what about you, Lori?
Yeah. It's just changed the topic here.
Crazy guys. I've been brewing for like 8 years and I just made my second hazy, but it turned out good finally.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hazy IPA, hazy pale ale, IPA.
Hazy IPA.
Oh, I want to try that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's crazy because I don't like hazies, and I tried to make another one. It didn't turn out, and then I tried it again. It didn't turn out.
Her husband likes them though, so she's.
So what did you do differently that worked this time?
I just followed the directions from.
All right.
I didn't overthink it. I was basic as fuck. I was like, a ton of hops here. Doesn't fucking matter. Just throw them all in, throw a bunch in. I like read this article. They're like, too many different varietals will really muddle up your hazy. I'm like, who gives a shit? Blah, blah, blah. It tastes like soap. My husband loves it. So
if he likes it, that's all. Let him drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's for him, right? So.
Yeah. I think another crazy thing I did is I made a Berliner Weiss like the real way. Like I let it sit for like 6 months. Mm-hmm. That has really paid off. And I would like to make, I think the craziest thing I want to do now is just make like, I really would love to make like a very straightforward Bohemian Pilsner.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Oh my God. I
It
need
will
that
suck.
light.
they're fun to make, but you've got
They're
to
fun to drink.
They're fun to drink, but you got to like almost be bang on with numbers to make
Lori,
Yeah.
are you gonna do decoction mash?
No,
She's like,
Oh, I see
hell
there's
no.
like shade being thrown now. Okay, all right.
No, no
well,
shade.
this is where I have to ask, what does decoction mean again?
No, stop. She's playing that game. She's like, I don't know. She freaking knows what a
I
decoction
don't
is.
know.
So
Yeah, I have a glycol system, and I like finally made a lager, but for some reason I love lagers, obsessed. But for some reason I decided to make a Rausch beer. It turned out great, but
It was
as you
so
know,
good.
it's not like your most chuggable. Not
No.
everyone is into it. You know, it's sort of just it's more novel. But I would like to use the glycol system for good. It's just been so hot here. I'm just, I'm really trying to not put a strain on the grid right now. So I'm gonna have to hold off.
use Kvike.
Also, I know if I make a Pilsner, I'm gonna have to make it like 4 or 5 times before it even is adequate. So I don't know. That's the craziest thing I could think of.
Okay.
Yeah, Dan, you're dealing with like below freezing, and we're dealing with above hellish temperatures
All
over
right.
here.
So Lori will do
The world is ending.
so hopefully Lori can do the conversion. The hottest day we've had here has been 35 degrees Celsius plus humidity, which put us over 40 degrees Celsius. So over into the 100-degree marker.
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't got nothing on Reseda, honey. I'm just kidding.
I'm not
You know
trying
what?
to. I'm just saying I know what you mean by hot. And I also have a glycol system. They're fantastic.
No, yeah.
Best way to make a lager and all that, unless you're doing it under pressure. If you
haven't
pressure
tried that
ferment,
yet.
it's
like to
the
try
easiest way to turn a beer around.
I just recently did a pressure ferment, and the results were great. It wasn't on a lager. It was actually on an ale.
Yep.
With English ale strain, which is like you don't want to put that under pressure, but I had a plan for it, and the final beer still came out as planned. But yeah, it was fermenting at 85 degrees, and it came out so clean. I was like, what the hell? It's weird. That's
So
a cool thing. I'm trying to get Lori into that because I think you would really be about that, Lori.
I
pressure
want to.
fermentation, especially in heat, is a
Yeah.
godsend unless you have a glycol system. Because all you gotta do is dump everything in, put a spunding valve on, turn your set the valve to maximum 15 psi, and then just let it rip. That's it,
Yeah.
and it's done within like 3-4 days.
Do you guys want to know a secret?
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, that sounds great, but I love a little downtime between brewing and packaging. In fact, I usually package about 16 days in. So I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's cool.
It's my lazy rhythm.
My lazy rhythm usually goes, once it's all done fermenting, it goes to a bright tank, carbs in the bright tank, then to a keg into my kegerator. Screw packaging.
You have a bright tank as a home brewer. Holy crap.
Do you have like a big ass garage? What is up?
I have a heated 2-car garage.
Oh my gosh.
Such
So
a
in the
flex.
bright tank, you have like a massive like carb stone.
I've got
And
I have a 10-gallon bright tank from SS Brewtech.
Okay.
So the glyculture I have is the Ice Max 4 from Brewd. So
Okay. Yes.
so they're fantastic. All the pumps, everything are all internalized. So I only had to buy it once, and that's all I had to buy for it. And everything's got its own sensors, everything. It's fantastic. Who's coming through the
That's
back door?
awesome.
Who's coming in behind? Who's coming in
Oh
behind?
no. No one.
So
One.
back on the crazy stuff. So I'm gonna get your guys' feedback on this because I'm getting ready to do it probably next week. It's gonna sound very cliche Canadian, so no heckling.
Don't even know what that means.
I'm making a maple bacon donut stout.
Do it.
Oh,
So I'm gonna go to there's a really good donut shop close by here in Oral called Susie Q Donuts where they do fresh donuts every day, and they're about yay
you
tall,
better.
and it's like fresh bacon, maple glaze, everything. So I'm gonna get these donuts and put them straight into the mash. The mash will act like a filter to catch any grease, and then boil it, a little bit of Fuggles, maybe a little bit of East Kent Golding, and then go from there.
This is so cute. So you're gonna how many dozens of donuts are you gonna buy for this? How big of a batch you
It's only going to be a small batch to see if it works. So I'll probably
Mhm.
make a 5-gallon batch, and it'll be about maybe a half a dozen donuts going into the actual mash. And then once that's done and fermented out, it may wind up in a bourbon barrel.
Oh, cool.
It might.
Wait, what's the base again? A stout?
It's a stout, an imperial stout.
Astute. Is that how you guys say it in Canada? Astute.
I want to
It's
suggest.
not a boot, it's a bout.
Oh.
I
I want to
know, I like-
suggest
I like
the
the boot.
gastromolecular version, guys. Let's brainchild this.
All right, let's do
What
it.
does that mean?
Okay.
Gastromolecular.
I think you should do a stout with smoked grain
Okay.
for the bacon.
Mhm.
Okay.
Ooh, like the cherry smoke. That shit smells
Yeah.
like bacon.
It does. Some biscuit malt for your donut
Okay.
and a bunch of and
Lactose.
yeah, lactose just for pastry, and then just like condition it with maple.
Okay. It's a long way around to doing it.
Like
Yeah,
maple
why
syrup.
not?
So talking about smoked malt and things like that, I have used smoked malt. I did a honey smoked porter. So I
Ooh.
got
Mm.
honey malt, smoked malt, maris solder, a little bit of biscuit malt, some chocolate malt, and some dark double roasted crystal, and it worked out fantastic.
I mean, how much? That sounds like an awesome grain bill, by the way. How much smoked malt do you think you use? Just a little bit.
100 grams. That's it.
Okay. Let me
You don't-
compute that.
So
What's a gram?
10%, 5%.
it's let's ask Siri.
Beep boop
Yeah.
bop boop beep boop bop. You get out the calculator.
What
No,
is
it's
100 grams
fine.
in ounces?
Ah. I have to do this all the time. I really want to learn.
So
Celsius.
3.5
I wanna learn
ounces.
Grams. I want to learn
Oh,
liters.
just a touch. Perfect. I love it.
Yeah, 3.5 ounces. Then I did probably about maybe 6 ounces of the honey malt. So
Nice.
just basically you're just letting it kiss the beer, and that's it.
A dash. A dash.
That's it. I mean, I have a friend who has bees, and he's always said, if ever you want fresh honey, let me know. I'll bring it over to you by the pound. So
Have you
For
took
free?
him up on the? Yeah. What are you going to do with it?
I teach him to make beer. So he comes over, we brew double
Fuck
batches.
yeah.
He takes half, I take the other half.
Are you doing a braggot? Have you used the honey?
I've used the honey when I actually made a honey brown.
Nice.
More
So
important question: did you listen to our honey episode that we just released?
no, I
That's a
haven't.
great
I'm gonna have to go
question.
listen to that one.
You have to. Yeah, the guy we talked to is the most passionate person you'll ever encounter about honey. Like he
Really?
fucking knows, and it is.
I know so much.
It's awesome. He's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you want someone who knows what they're talking about on either on hops or on German beer, Stan Hieronymus is a fantastic dude to have him come talk hops. And he is the most generous guy I've ever talked to. The next person, if you want to talk German beer, I don't know if you've heard of him,
Okay.
but it's Horst Dornbusch. and he is like the utmost authority on German beer. The most recent, I guess,
Yeah, they talked to him on a homebrew happy
homebrew.
hour, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
put out a book with Garrett Oliver,
that's
and
really
it's
cool.
fantastic. Absolutely, he is the nicest man in the world. Absolutely. If you ever want to talk German beer, reach out to him, and it's awesome.
Okay.
Duh.
Yeah. So, where do you guys see yourselves going in your beer lives? I mean, I know you have lives outside of beer, like
No, I
Tyler.
don't. I
Okay,
absolutely do not.
if you had lives outside of beer, where do you see things going?
Lori.
I blah blah blah. Sorry, my brain died. I'm a K-12 classroom teacher in California, and it is in the US, it's difficult and stressful. So I see myself, because I've already put like 20 plus years into this, I'm gonna see it through to the end. And then after that, I don't know. In beer, I do have a second job, and I work as a field marketing rep for Sierra Nevada.
Oh, wow.
I like it. There's a lot of fringe benefits, and it's one of the best beer companies in the world, and I love being a part of it.
Mhm.
So I'll just probably ride that and keep homebrewing. I love being involved in the podcast and the homebrew club. I love being a darling of the American Homebrewers Association. And that's about it. Probably nothing too professional beyond field marketing, which, by the way, I think is very, very cool and very exciting and very interesting in contrast to my job as an educator. So yeah, I would love to just retire. Like, that's my ultimate goal, is just to retire.
Retirement's fun. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Because then you get to do
Yeah,
what you
I
want.
want to retire too. I'm 24.
Yeah,
I want to retire.
I'm ready. I think I have like 10 more years at the most, and then I'm done.
What? You can't retire after 20 years?
Yeah, what the hell?
Well, I'm only in my 40s.
Yeah, I really feel freaking old now. I really feel old now.
It's okay.
I don't feel old.
Being old is awesome.
I'm 50.
Yeah,
That's cool.
you're a veteran in more
Yeah,
ways
and
than
you're
one.
retired. There's a lot of people in their 50s working their asses off still.
You're
I'm sure they're bummed.
seasoned. Okay.
Yeah.
My son's 21 and my daughter's 18, and I get called old man on a regular basis. Trust me.
I mean, that's what
I love that.
people that age say. They're so mean, you know.
Yeah, I
It's
get
like-
yelled at by a 14-year-old on like a very regular basis. It's fun.
I love my kids.
I have a cat. My cat doesn't yell at me, but she kind of does.
It only gets angry at you when it's hungry, right?
No, not even. Honestly, she's pretty chill. So I
Okay.
think I got lucky. Yeah.
So you've had some pretty interesting guests on your show. I mean, I think you've had Sarah Flora on, or Sarah
yeah.
Flora. You've talked with the boys from the Homebrew Happy Hour. Have you guys been on with Coulter Wilson for from Homebrewing DIY?
Yeah, we did a little bit. That was a
made the
while
rounds.
ago.
Yeah. So these are all people I've talked with, or I stay in touch with. Not so much with Sarah, because she's so freaking busy. Like her channel and everything has taken off like a skyrocket, which is awesome to see. Because in my opinion, women brewers make better beer than men, which is very, very true.
It's in our DNA.
I'm not going to argue with you, because I've met some really cool female pro brewers here in Ottawa, and I'm floored with their processes and what they can do. We have one of Canada's only kosher breweries here in Ottawa.
Oh, right on.
Oh, okay.
And they're a husband and wife team. The husband does all the marketing and the wife does all the brewing. And she says, I make up all the recipes myself. and I do my own research. I do it all, and all their beers are fantastic. So, I mean,
Of course they are.
but
No, but that's I see where you're getting at. That's really cool. I think that I don't know. I kind of do want to travel around a little bit more and go to more breweries that women, are the head brewers at.
Yeah.
There's definitely a handful down here, but it is cool to, stumble upon, other breweries around the country / in other countries where, women are the head brewers. They're not necessarily on social media, like, posting a bunch of stuff, which is great, so it's hard. They're a little harder to find, but when you do find them, it's pretty rad. So,
So who are you guys hoping to I shouldn't say hoping, but I'll come back to this question. If you're going to go on a beer adventure, where would you want to go? Anywhere in the world, where do you want to go?
Belgium.
Belgium?
Hey, what did you say, Lori?
I said we already planned it. We're going to Germany.
Germany, sorry, and Belgium. Sorry.
And Belgium, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand, like, Germany, absolutely. Berliner Weiss, Schwarzbier,
German
Plus
Pilsner, the
lagers.
best beer in the world.
Those are all great beers.
Helles, so good.
Mhm.
Love a good
All
Helles.
the lagers.
Absolutely. Belgium.
Oh, I don't know.
You're not a
I don't
Belgian-y
like what you're
boy?
doing right now. I think you
No.
should circle back.
Like, I equate Belgium to saisons, and saisons and I do not get along.
All right, I'm gonna exit out of here.
Look, it's been really great talking to you.
No,
Have you ever had a Westmalle Dubel?
a what?
I would like to challenge you to have a Westmalle Dubel and then tell me what you think. And
I don't even think I can get that here.
well, if I can get it, you can get it. It was made in
It all
Europe.
depends on whether or not our liquor commission can get it or not, because we actually have a liquor control board here in Ontario.
Well, I think you should write an angry email to the liquor commission if you can't get it.
So the craziest, not craziest, but my first introduction to a saison or even like a Belgian triple was Le Fin du Monde.
Okay.
Which is it's brewed in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two versions of this beer. You have one called Le Monde Zit, which is translated into the damned, and then Le Fin du Monde, which is translated into the end of the world. Monde Zit is about 9%, and it's like heavy duty chewing through bread. And then you have Le Fin du Monde, where it's got that like you would have with a Hogarden, that kind of peppery whatever flavor to it.
Funk, yeah.
But it's got that really funky, to me, gross banana flavor that I can't get through in a beer. I can't. But that's me. I know a lot of people who love them, and more power to them. And I can understand the fascination with them and the enjoyment with them. I just don't have that, because I guess my palate's not that sophisticated.
No, we get it. It's like that Belgian yeast character ain't for everyone,
It's
just
very
not,
specific. Yeah.
for sure.
So if you're challenging me to find that beer, I'm going to challenge you to make a cherry lambic.
Wow.
What? A lambic?
I've made a lambic.
Does it require additional equipment?
Nope.
It requires like years and years.
Nope. So if you're going to do it, it requires at least 4 yeast strains, and then about 12 pounds worth of cherry puree.
4 pounds,
and then you gotta let it
gallons. 5?
5.
Okay, that's not bad. Sorry.
And then you've got to let it do its thing for almost 6 months. And then you got to let it sit.
That sounds light for a lambic.
But That's fermenting it out. And then you got to let it, when you put like the final souring in, you got to let it go for another 6. So you're looking at roughly a year before it's ready.
You know what? I have a mead that I've been too lazy to package for 3 years. So I
was gonna say, didn't you hear Lori say she likes time in between?
I like to be lazy. Do I like to procure 12 pounds of cherries and 4 yeast strains? Probably not.
4
But we'll
pounds,
see.
that's
We'll
12.
See. To be honest, it is actually one of the easier ones to make. It's just putting it off to the side and letting it do its thing and not constantly poking at it.
Yeah.
Anytime I find someone has like lamb, like, are we drinking lamb kit? It's always when I'm already like wasted and haven't eaten anything, and it's just like this crazy thing in my stomach on top of whatever like murder scene is already in there. And so honestly, I haven't really. I love cherries and I love sours, but I have not treated me well, lambics.
All right.
I might have a lambic actually tonight. We've been sitting on one for a little bit. Okay. I think cherries though are more associated with like a creek. Right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like those beers are like very special in that, and their processes.
They're honestly, they're great, especially when they're done right. They're really, really good. They're light, they're refreshing, not like blow your mind sour. They're just nice and tart. They're really, really good.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go to Belgium and Germany and have some really good beers.
All right.
And then you gotta come to America and have a Coors Light.
I can get that here.
Or a Pabst brew.
Or a Bud Light with lime.
It'll change. I can get that here too. I can get like PBR here.
Or Four Loko. Do you have Four Lokos in Canada?
Yes. Do you have Tecate Titanium?
Have what?
Do you have White Claw? Truly.
You
know Drake? You know Justin Bieber? Just kidding. Now I'm just being stupid.
Wait, you guys have Bud Light. The commission is allowed for the Bud Light, but they haven't allowed for the Westmalle. You really need to
Bud Light. Here's the thing.
Commission.
Budweiser and also I believe Labatt are owned by NBev.
I was gonna say Anheuser-Busch, AB InBev.
NBev. So you can bring that across the border because it's brewed.
They do whatever they want.
They do what they want.
Pretty much. Have you ever tried making any historical beers?
Yes.
You sound thrilled about it.
I made a Kentucky Common. It was great.
We both made a Kentucky Common, actually. Yeah. I made one a while ago.
I've never had or heard of a Kentucky Common.
It's good. It's like, what is it?
Is it like a lager ale?
Like a dark corn cream
amber ale. Yeah, it's like corn 6-row and like 2-row, and it's like cold fermented. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good. Cool. Is that just like a straight up ale yeast, not lager yeast?
No, I use like a British straight. I think I use like
you
04.
Used a cream ale.
Oh, I used a cream ale. You're right.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I think I just cold fermented.
She knows all my stuff.
No, I don't. I don't even know my own stuff. But.
So what do you guys like to use for equipment? What's your favorite go-to equipment to use when you're making your beer?
Well, I brew on a G40, a Grainfather 40.
Nice.
And I have a glycol chiller system, and it's great. I love it. But I also love to make cider, and I just like to do it old school, which is juice and a glass carboy and a little bit of yeast. And I like to package with honey. And so usually whatever beer I'm making, I always have cider, very simple honey conditioned cider to drink. I love it.
How much honey are you putting in the bottles?
When I bottle condition, about I just do 15 tablespoons for a 5-gallon batch.
All right. Okay. So you're putting it into the actual beer before you package it.
Correct.
Kind of like a simple syrup.
It's cider, but yes.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Tyler?
So typically I kind of switched to like a Bruna bag situation, 15-gallon like pot, but I have to like, it's almost like if a Brewzilla grain father had like a propane system, because I have like a rimmed tube with a PID controller, so that keeps the mash temperature throughout, and I mean, keeps it really clear. Not that it matters after you like take the bag out, but it was basically like a 15-gallon kettle, brew bag, a PID controller, and like just like a recirculating
Right.
kind of system. And that's been working for me really well. If I do bigger batches, I kind of go back to the traditional like mash tun cooler, hot liquor tank, boil kettle with like a pump and stuff. But yeah, all propane, just because it would be so nice to go all electric, but I live in an apartment complex where like the electricity is a little sketchy. So I'm not about to be in the middle of a brew day and the like electricity goes out in the middle of a boil. And I'm like, yeah. Even though I use the recirculating, the PID, that's electric, but like I could do without, you know what I mean?
It's funny you said about you don't want to be in the middle of a brew day and the power go out. That's happened to me with my electric system, where I had to
I'm
bust out the old camp
sure.
stove,
Mhm.
transfer everything into those black enameled canning pots,
Yeah.
dumped everything into that, and put that over top the camp stove to bring it to a boil and let it boil the hell out of it. And it was changed the cylinders on it because of how long it
Oh
had.
God, that sounds like I would give up.
I wasn't
no,
going to waste it.
The power's gone out when I've been like, I just got back home from like buying jugs of water for the brew day. I'm like, oh, I should be fine. And then I was like, shit, I need electricity to like run the pump. So without a pump, it was, you could still do it manually. It was just a little bit more of an effort for me, but yeah, it's not fun.
No, it's not fun. So no. So we talked about some historical beers, and I like me, like a squirrel going down a rabbit hole or whatever, shiny object syndrome, and like Doug from the movie Up. Hello, ball. That's me. I get distracted easily. Have you ever tried making a Scottish historic beer with no hops, just heather tips?
No,
No.
but
You
I
should
think
try-
you have.
I have.
Me? No.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I have.
You have.
It's spelled Froach. I'm not going to try and pronounce it because I have friends who live in Scotland, and every time I try to say it, I get my ass kicked when I see them. They don't, before they found hops for this one beer, they used natural plants, and heather tips did the same thing as hops and for the bittering agent and everything else. And I submitted that beer to the 2021 National Homebrewers competition, and I placed in the top 20 with it.
Oh, no way. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. Even though they're saying this is not a historical beer. I'm like, it dates back to 1200 BC.
Wait, I thought Groots were in the historical category.
It's not a Gruit. It's a straight up ale.
Mm.
Ha!
Maybe debatable.
All
right. Let's do this. Come on.
No,
I can't do all the Canadian conversions in my head.
Oh, there we go. Here we go.
That sounds good. Do you still have some of that left or no?
I'm getting ready to make it again. I'm gonna make it again.
Send us a bottle.
Wait, I don't know. Like when I think of heather, like I first pictured lavender, and lavender does kind of feel hoppy to me sometimes. Yep. But I'm trying to think of heather, although I know a million heathers. I don't know what it smells like. Is that like a common thing in Ottawa?
It's an indigenous plant from Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in Scotland, it's kind of like a weed. It's purple flowers, really prickly thorns on it. You got to be careful if you go into it, because it'll cut you up pretty bad. But here, if you want to brew with it, you can buy just the tips from the flowers.
Just the tips
that are already dried out for you. And depending on the size of the batch, you're gonna just the tips. Yeah. Funny.
It took you a minute, but
I was trying not to go there. You can buy them in 200 gram bags. So 200 grams, that's maybe 2 ounces.
6 ounces.
6 ounces. Okay. Conversions is not army guy. I destroy things. I don't put things together.
No. I have the wrong measurements. What is a pound? What is an ounce?
What?
What's a gallon?
Gram?
Yeah.
It's like
grams.
3.5 grams. I know that.
I know
What's
3 miles
Fahrenheit?
is 5 kilometers.
That's an eighth of an ounce.
Oh my God. What is a kilometer? I don't even know.
Kilometer and a half is what? No, 2.5 kilometers is a mile and a half.
Sure.
I know that from running marathons. So
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you see yourselves doing down the road with the podcast and with your own brewing? Like aside from some crazy traveling to Germany, Belgium, or even maybe into Poland, Czechoslovakia, going over to England, France, maybe.
He's planning our dream trip.
So what do you see yourselves doing?
And Lori could obviously speak for herself too, but like pod wise, I like what we're doing. Like it's casual. We work hard, but it's to our speed, it's to our kind of schedule constraints. And we talk to a lot of awesome people, get a lot of cool information. We have fun. So to be honest, the way it is now is cool for me. I don't have dreams of like being on like iHeartRadio one day. That would be maybe cool. I don't know, or being like some award-winning podcaster. But I think I appreciate the amount of people that appreciate our podcast, the tone of it, the information they get, etc. So that for me is enough. Brewing wise, that's what I'm super passionate about. So I have many endeavors in brewing. You could follow me on Instagram at Tyler's Brew and check that out. But like ultimately, in a few years, it'd be cool to have like a small scale kind of thing, and just make like batches of beer, the styles that I'm super passionate about, that are really, dialed in and really good. And that's pretty much it. I only want the simple things in life. So that's me.
Awesome. How about you, Lori?
I think for me, just like Tyler said, we like to keep our podcasts very, very casual. We only release like every other week, and we're able to make it work with we both have super busy schedules, but also to me, it serves a purpose of like, I like to document our conversations and I like to record it. And I also feel like when we started the podcast in 2020, at that time, there were not other women homebrewer or women brewers on podcasts. And it wasn't something that I could find, or, there were lots of male voices and like a very specific viewpoint. And I think Tyler and I kind of have our own niche. We're very chatty and casual and candid. And we try not to be pretentious. We do not know everything. We sometimes try to explain things for viewers.
Don't know everything?
No. And we don't like to explain like we do. We don't like to act like we do. And honestly, like for me, I like to be almost evangelical about brewing. So I love a beginner brewer. I love like a new fresh face. Like, where do I get started? Here, jump in. So I feel like when we're designing our podcasts or we're talking about our episodes or even naming them and people are trying to search for them, we're trying to like put out subjects that I think would interest newer brewers, and usually when we put out a podcast, we really get engaged in these great conversations. And there's a lot of like investigation that goes on, a lot of inquiry. And to me, it's super fun. I love it.
That's cool. I find, at least in the vast homebrew community that's between borders and whatnot, you can reach out to anybody as a home brewer that you know, or within a club, ask them a question. And I find there's two takes in asking those questions. You're going to have those people who are hoity-toity, snobby, and come back and say, why don't you know this? But then there are the people actually out there who care and want to help you out and say, well, this is what I do. Doesn't mean you have to try it, but this is what I do. You might want to try this, or you could try this. And those are the people I tend to gravitate towards. All these other people can go pound freaking salt for all I care. But
yeah, I think speaking anecdotally is really important, especially when you're talking about something like home brewing, because everyone's water is different, everyone's ingredients are different, everyone's setup is different, everyone's, we're dealing with like a live species, yeast, and so I think it's important to keep that in mind. And I also think it might be generational. I work with a lot of people, like I'm a ceramicist, and there's a lot of older people that I work with or that I glean information from. And sometimes it's just like, education in that area used to be extremely, extremely formal. And now it's hard to find that. So like now education, I think, is more anecdotal. And so you have to kind of take whatever you can, experience yourself, and try to flesh it out.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to wrap this up because I don't know, it's getting it's almost 11:30 here in Canada. So my old body is going, you've been up since
tomorrow.
My body's saying you've been up since 5:00 this morning. So, so anything you want to pass on to anybody, any words of wisdom?
Yeah. If you want it, go for it. If you want to do it, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yep.
Because it's really easy to get caught up in, that whole thing, what not to do, what you should do. It's good to try different things and learn for yourself, for sure. Make your own processes and, just find your own way in this thing. That's the cool thing about homebrewing, is like,
absolutely,
there's a way to do it, but within that line, of steps, there's, hundreds of other ways to like do each step. So do what you want to do. If the beer tastes good, great. If it's fun, great. If it's not fun, figure out how to make it fun and then go from there.
There you go. Laurie?
I would say the same thing. I would say brew for yourself. When you sit down to make a cake, you're not trying to open up a bakery and be the best, but you know what? That cake you make is going to be so delicious.
Yeah.
So brew for yourself. I feel like BIAB is the way, the truth, and the life. I feel like natural conditioning and packaging with honey or sugar is like the way to go.
Yep.
Brew what you want, keep it simple, and don't get caught up in any of these like mansplainers or these people with these big systems.
Yep.
Just enjoy it and drink it.
Yep. Making beer is only as hard as you want to make it. The simpler, and as long as you can follow a recipe, anybody can do it.
Yes.
That's my philosophy.
And I was gonna say, somebody came in and was like, I've been looking into the Brewzilla, but like I heard that if you do it on the Brewzilla, you're not really brewing. And like I can't stand when like that is someone's mentality, especially someone who hasn't done it before. I'm like,
Yeah.
so you're against making this like easy for you, or obviously you're of course still brewing, but like
Yeah.
here's this awesome system that's well priced and it's making the process extremely like
It's
streamlined and
streamlining
easy.
it.
Like why wouldn't that attract a new brewer? I don't know.
Absolutely.
People
Absolutely.
just want to do things the hard way. It's strange.
All right, guys. So thank you very much for being on the show, ladies. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully down the road we can maybe team up, do like a live brew day or something somewhere along the line, or figure something out and do a little challenge and see who can do the better beer and ship it across the country
Sure.
and see what happens.
Or maybe our second dream beer vacation will be Ottawa. You've got 50 breweries. That sounds amazing.
If you do it, I can get you, because I work also for a beer tour company. I can get you on our tour bus for free and take you around and show you all the good spots.
I've always wanted to go to Canada. Let's
do it.
Don't go to Toronto. Totally overpriced,
Toronto.
totally overhyped. Come to Ottawa, a lot smaller. We're a lot more fun.
I'm down.
Let's do it.
Right. So guys, we've had Tyler and Laurie from Brewd Up Podcast on the show today. Ladies, thank you so much. And guys, thanks a lot for coming along for the ride and a beer or two along the way. She's Tyler. That's Laurie down low. I'm Dan. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the other side.